Hey guys, I apologize for the poor lighting, but I am doing Nothing But the Blood by Matt Redman, and I'm going to try to get through this without tearing up a little bit, because this song appeals to me so much, especially since a vast majority of it is pulled right out of Hebrews chapter 12. But the lyrics, to start out with, say, "Your blood speaks a better word than all the empty claims I've heard upon this earth. Speaks righteousness for me and stands in my defense. Jesus, it's your blood." And he's pulling right out of Hebrews chapter 12, verse 24, when it says, "And to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel." And I love how the writer of Hebrews talks about the blood of Abel, and he compares it to the blood of Jesus, because when we go back to Genesis, we see exactly what account the blood of Abel gave. In chapter 4, verse 10, it says, "And he had said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground, and now thou art cursed from the earth." So exactly what Matt Redman and what the author of Hebrews is saying here is that you have two different spillings of blood, and they speak two different things. The spilling of blood from Christ speaks righteousness to us. It doesn't speak condemnation. It speaks freedom. It speaks deliverance. It speaks salvation, and it frees from the curse. And then, but whenever you look at Genesis, you have the exact opposite. When Abel's blood cried out from the ground unto the Father, it cried out condemnation and cursings. As soon as God told Cain that he heard the blood of his brother crying out from the ground, he says that now you are cursed. But when the Father sees the blood of Christ on us, he doesn't cry out, "You are cursed." He actually cries out, "You are free." And so that's why he says, "Your blood speaks a better word than all the empty claims I've heard upon the earth." And he says this, "It speaks righteousness for me, and it stands in my defense." Abel's blood didn't stand in defense of Cain. It condemned Cain. It spoke of his sinfulness. It spoke of his condemnation. I'm sorry for that. But Jesus' blood, it speaks in our defense. It is on our legal side, and he stands as a mediator between us and the Father, the judge. And I just preached on this not too long ago in the church, and I gave an example, and I had someone, I painted red on their hand, and I had a big piece of art paper, and on one side I said Abel, and on the other I said Jesus. I wrote Abel and Jesus. And I had him take that handprint of blood and put it on both sides. And in doing so, whenever he put his handprint on Abel, I put shackles on him. And I said, that's what the blood of Abel did to Cain. That's what your sin did to you. And then when I had him put the blood print on the side of Jesus, I took the shackles off of him, or I took the handcuffs off of him. And I explained that that's what the blood of Christ does. One speaks condemnation, and the other speaks in our defense. But then he says this too in the second verse. It says, "Your cross testifies in grace. It tells the Father's heart to make a way for us. Now boldly we approach, not earthly confidence. It's only by your blood." And that's also from Hebrews chapter 12. Because he talks about, "For ye have not come to the mount that might be touched, that burned with fire, nor into blackness and darkness and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words which voice they heard, entreated that the word should not be spoken to them any more." And skip down to verse 21. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come to Mount Zion, and the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels, etc., etc. And one of the major themes of Hebrews is that Christ is approachable, that we can go boldly before the throne of grace. And so it's that difference between the old covenant and the new, the condemnation and the distance between us and God, and now him standing in our defense, and we can always approach the throne. And so that song carries such theological weight to me. And I apologize for the tears, but yeah, it's powerful. Anyway, I hope that blessed you.